What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Brenner Video YouTube channel. And today we have a special guest, Thomas Cordell, owner, producer of Elbows Up Dirt Productions. Thomas, thank you for being on the channel, man.
Yeah, sure thing. No problem at all. I like the seats too, by the way.
You like that?
Oh yeah, guaranteed. They're nice.
We know how to treat our guests.
Oh yeah, 100% pillow seats. I'm into it. You know what I mean?
How did you even get started doing what you're doing? Now, I did know that you were the announcer at Path Valley.
Yeah, correct. I still do some there. It's probably like once or twice a month at Path Valley. I kind of, I raced, okay, and clearly I wasn't real great at that, or we'd be doing it still.
Yeah, I've tried it.
Yeah, but just with the finances of it and stuff, and we ended up getting out of limited late model racing, and I blew some motors up back to back several years ago, and I was racing at Path Valley. I seemed to do well there when we ran. Okay. And I always, if you go back to when I was a kid, it's funny. If you go back to when I was a kid, I was always running my mouth, like outside of the races. Like I was announcing stuff, you know what I mean? We get all hyped up and announce and say each other. I grew up around a bunch of people in racing, and they're, it's funny how the stuff goes like that, And I grew up listening to Frank Saggy, the late great, and I can't say enough about the energy that he brought to the races, and the knowledge that he brought to the races, And as a kid, I think I loved the racing, going to watch it, but then I also like listening to him. You know what I mean? And it was great. It was great. But anyways, to answer your question, I always wanted to think in my mind, maybe someday I give that a shot. You know what I mean? Yeah. As far as like getting on a mic in front of people, And I got that shot. I quit. Our racing was coming to the end, okay? And they really didn't have someone at Path Valley. His name was Tony Hampton, and he was filling in. They're kind of getting by with that, and stuff. And he said, "Why don't you try it one night?" You know what I mean? So I come up there, and it was on a ULMS night with Zuber and Company and Super Late Model show, big show, And it was pretty much, here's the mic. You know what I mean?
He just gave it to you.
Yeah, and we just rolled with it. You know what I mean? We rolled with it. So probably like 40 plus years, I'm weird, driving down the road, like saying stuff about racing in my head, like I'd be announcing. Like I think an announcer brings the energy, obviously, to the people. They're a conductor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're a conductor. And, to get out in front of people, I kind of evolved with that, to be doing stuff in front of the fans, on the front stretch and, trying to get them hyped up and all that and things. And I thought, man, I like being out in front of people. And we were talking about music here earlier and going to a lot of concerts and bands, we did a lot of that. And I admire those people, man.
Being able to stand up there.
Oh, 100%, in front of like thousands, tens of thousands of people and just like amp them up. And I've like, okay, well, here's a chance, to do that. And people responded, I'm sure. Some people say I was too loud, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was classic. Oh, yeah. Like they say, he's too loud, and I as time went on, my voice, it got down to a good level, I guess if you want to call it, you know what I mean? Because I was just wired up, And but a lot of people liked it.
You're screaming in the mic and
oh yeah, just amping people up, just amping them up, and people liked it, and then the Elbows Up deal, it was formed, and because we were doing it while we were racing, we were doing maybe like once every other week, sometimes once a week, and it was pretty like primitive, if you will, like. It's primitive, like Gilligan's Island, as primitive as can be, Like we were basically talking like to a phone with no mics or anything, and it was just like picking up, what hit and record, and that was it. And we would run like some results and things, and we talk about our results and start to incorporate other tracks results into it. And, you know, I was like, people started to follow it, you know, and at first it was like, oh, there's like 10 people and 30 people. And, you know how this goes, you know, like 100, 200, you know, and it was like, wow, you know, they're checking things out.
You're like, maybe they like it.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, you know, you keep moving along with it. And just like anything, you just keep building and building and building it. And I think in general, when you look at anything when it comes to like this whole Facebook / YouTube world, it's a grind. You start so small, and it just takes time and time.
Every single day.
It does, you know, and there's not a day, and I'm sure you're like this, there's not a, you know, a minute sometimes that goes by, like I'm following stuff, you know.
Pulling up the analytics.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You know, it's views, you know, it's all about views. But the thing of it is that I think that when I say it's all about views, it is to a certain degree, but they're about quality views.
Oh, yeah.
And as time goes on and you get a group that's following you, you know, there's followers and then there's following, you know what I mean? Facebook don't let you figure out stuff too quick. Yeah. They make it challenging. But, you know, you get a good following of people, and that's what it's about. You know, you get quality people following your stuff. They're good supporters. They like what you're doing. They're into racing, obviously. Yep. You know, and there's plenty of people that follow me that aren't as diehard into racing, but I guess we kind of coin ourselves as ambassadors of the sport, and people ask me a lot, like, why you just what you said, why you do this, you know what I'm saying? And it's funny because the answer I always give them, because I couldn't drive a race car, you know what I mean, and I laugh, you know, but no, everybody, and I thought about this for a long time, everybody has a niche with something, and sometimes that niche is years and years and years till you figure out what that is.
Oh yeah.
And it's a little bit easier if you're in the right domain, okay? And I've been around racing all my life, is whether it be a fan. As a little boy, used to sit on the wooden bleachers at Hagerstown. That was me, okay? As a crew member, as a young man, okay? I crewed on several, you know, race teams. I drove street stocks, pure stocks in the 90s when I was, I don't know, 15, 16 years old. I was about 18. And then, you know, I've always stayed a fan, and I stayed a fan for quite a while, okay? And then I thought, I always wanted to run a late model. Yeah. Okay? Always wanted to do that. You know, I idolized people. I grew up around that did that. Oh, my Lord. So I got the opportunity to do that, and, you know, it was a blast. It truly was. I mean, do we win races? No. Do we win championships? Nope. Do we run second and give some races away lost times and we had our moments? Sure we did. Yeah. To me, that fulfilled my cup. Yeah. Okay. To a lot of racers, that doesn't fulfill their cup. And that's fine. To each their own. Yep. But the point I'm getting at is it took that long, you know, 30 plus years, 35 years to figure out that maybe this is where I have my grace and my contribution into motorsports. So fast forward along, here we are, you know, and whether it be announcing a race or doing what we do with Elbows Up Dirt Productions or doing what we do with our Mid-Atlantic Junior Racing Club that we've had, a little over 4 years.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah. So, you know, I think, once again, going back to everybody has a niche, I'm a big proponent, and I have been critically on my shows. I speak when everybody talks about the racing climate, where it's at, okay, geographically around here. It struggles.
Yep.
There's no question about it. I mean, I've seen it good from my time in the 80s and 90s to where it was just oof, you know, to where now it's different, okay? Not necessarily bad, but it is struggling, okay? Other places seem to have it figured out a little bit better, okay? It's no harm, no foul. I always say that. There's not one person to blame.
Yeah.
So when you look at a niche in motorsports, I always preach the big wheel in racing. And the big wheel is essentially promoters, fans, media, the guy that sells the hot dogs.
Yep.
Okay? It takes everyone on that wheel to make it work. And then the race car drivers. If you truly look at it, the racing part of things is the small portion.
Yeah.
It is. It's the small portion that caps your night at the racetrack. Everything else has to be in that big wheel to make it successful.
Yeah.
So for us, for me, I feel that this is the best way that we can contribute to make it more successful and continue to go forth like that.
If you wanted to race when you were growing up, did your parents race? Were they involved in racing?
Yeah, my dad raced in the 60s into the mid to late 60s into the early 70s.
What did he run?
He ran, well, they called it a late model back then.
Oh, okay.
And this is 55 Chevys, okay? And this is pre-race chassis.
It's going to a junkyard, getting a car, or finding a car.
Pretty much, yep. So there wasn't no rocket chassis.
Yep.
There wasn't no bullet chassis, because that was the start of it all, you know, before Rocket then took it and went forward with it. And then you were going and buying race chassis.
Yep.
And back then, yeah, you basically took, I mean, yeah, you could take a car right off the road, you know? And he had a 55, and him and his friends did it. And obviously it was if you looked at that race car, there really wasn't a lot of specific manufactured race components on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I need a power steering pump. Well, let's go to the junkyard, you know? Kind of like what I did. I always compare it to when I drove pure stocks in the 90s. We had racing springs and racing shocks, but everything else, I was going to the junkyard.
Yep.
You know? And that's kind of what they had. You know, I had an 86 old Cutlass, you know, when I raced street stocks. But yeah, he raced, and them guys could run 3 nights a week. And you could afford it, and tracks had it. For instance, they'd be running the likes of Everett, St. Thomas Speedway, which them two are not existent anymore, okay? Hagerstown was Sundays, okay? Hagerstown was Sundays. And Lincoln, ran a lot of Lincoln, ran Williams Grove, you know? But if the weather cooperated, them guys were running 3 nights a week, you know?
It's a lot more affordable.
Oh, it was a lot more affordable, 100 times, you know? There wasn't enclosed trailers. It's how some guys flat-towed their cars there, you know what I mean? And it was a whole different thing. The stands were polluted, packed, you know?
Yeah.
It was a family outing. You went to the races, that was your thing for the night. And whether you were there 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, because the races went on after the races, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, people hung out, and it was that's the way it was, you know? And nowadays, I always say this, you know, the conversation, I should say, is always back and forth about they run too many classes. Okay, you hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm promoter, general manager, Tom, on at the track, I'm saying, well, we run many classes because obviously it's backgate money. See, backgates didn't have to be relied on 100% in the day to pay everything.
Yeah.
Front gates, back gates tried to balance out right there. But today, the front gate is way down.
Oh yeah, everyone's pit passes, cars.
100 times. And it's funny because we always run the math. You know, you see a show, you think, well, there was 27 super signed in, average of 3 people on a card. We do the math real quick, what the pit pass was to see what it generated. You know what I mean? Because then you look at the stands and you're like, man, she's pretty low, you know? And I hate to say it, and I tell him this all the time, I tell several people, but it's a heck of a thing. I hope I'm wrong, but I would probably say in 6 to 8 years, most racetracks are going to be special events with sanctioned groups like Lucas, World Outlaw. I think the tracks that will survive will be the Path Valleys, okay? Because they're running a lot of less expensive divisions that are 30 deep in cars. They bring 18 people, I'm just exaggerating, but they bring a slew of people with them each time. And it's more basic fun, if that makes sense. This good old racing. You know what I mean?
So I wanted to ask you then, so do you think it would make more sense for them to bring in a lower class, say Crown Vics, to come in and race? They're very popular on YouTube right now.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that would do well at a local track?
Probably. I mean, I see Bedford. They host them, okay? They host them. And here's the thing. According to their Dalai Lama, I like to use that word, you know, I think McClellan, okay? He's the man behind them. He'll build them for you, you know? I'm pretty sure it's around $6,500, and you're going racing.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of monkeying with the car. It is what tire pressures. It's basic tire pressure, but you're going racing and you're going out and having fun. So classes like that and smaller tracks like the old Shippensburg Speedway when it was running, I think that they will run weekly, but I think a lot of, and I'm talking on the fender side.
Yep.
Okay. We're talking fenders. I think that a lot of the tracks will boil down to sanctioned events coming in. We're going to have 2 races this month, or one race this month, because it's just. And somebody says, why is that? And like I said, I'm not the ultimate, you know, answer of correctness when it comes to that. But in my opinion, it's a lot of things. And we talk about it. Him and I talk about it all the time. Fast Fred, you know. It boils down to expense of the cars.
Yeah.
It's unreal. It is absolutely insane.
To haul them there, then to run them.
Correct. And it's you boil down to, you are in a society right now to where there are 8 gazillion things that you can do on your Friday or Saturday night. That's it. It boils down to a society that if you did not grow up in it, you are probably less apt to, you may hear about it.
But you'd have no interest in going.
Right. You're not going to be an avid, I'm going to be there for 20 of them, 25 races this year. They're my reserve seats. Look at reserve seat sales. They're low.
Yeah.
They practically give them away, you know? That was unheard of, you know? I mean, my aunt and uncle had reserved seats at Lincoln and Williams Grove for 20 plus years. And if you didn't have your payment in, like by the golden hour, they were going to somebody else.
Wow.
Because there was somebody in line wanting reserved seats. Now, if you talk about on the wing world, the sprint car world, you know, here's the deal. We went and watched sprint cars last night in Lincoln, okay? We didn't film nothing. No. It's just nice to go to the races and just sit there and watch the races.
Be a spectator.
Yeah, I like all classes of cars. And my first choice is obviously fenders, late models, all day long. And anybody who knows me will tell you that. But I will go watch racing. But the sprint car people, okay, and I always say they're from another planet, okay, and they laugh, you know what I mean? They have it figured out. They've had it figured out for a long time. It helps that this is the heartland of sprint car racing. We could talk for hours on that. You could go back to the days of Bobby Allen, Jan Opperman, Kenny Weld. They migrated across country to here. And it's stuck. It's stuck. Williams Grove, Lincoln, it's stuck. Okay? So, but if you look at the modern era, they have it figured out. They still have good payouts, good car counts, pretty good fan following. They have a slew of owners that spend the money knowing that for the most part, they're not getting wealthy. Okay, they have a guy running. That's all he does for them. He races, works on the car and races. But here's the thing: a lot of those people in the late model world are dead. God help them. They just passed on.
Yep.
Or they're just not in that capacity to do that anymore. A lot of the people on both sides of the fender and the wings, they own businesses. Okay, they own businesses. So what happens is this: they get to their age and either they pass on, or they're just older. They're just not into it anymore. They ain't able to do this stuff. You know, they're in their 70s, 80s. So the businesses then fall to the hands of their other generations, grandkids, kids. Okay, it goes back to a society thing. There's choices to be made. Do I want to continue to fund a race car for a couple $100,000 a year, or do I want to maybe have a condo,
A savings,
a savings, or a condo we go to 6 or 8 times a year, by a major golf course at a beach? You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not. But their drive and their mindset is different from either their grandfather, their great-grandfather, because they had a passion for racing. They knew it wasn't going to make them gazillionaires.
Yeah.
They would lose money, but they had a passion for racing. And there's still, in my opinion, more of those figures on the wing side of the planet.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I mean, you take and you look at Gary Kaufman, Danny Dietrich. You look at Rich Eichelberger, okay? And now Lance DeWeese. You look at Stamens. You look at Macris, okay? There's a lot of heavy, I'm going to call it businesses and pockets, that like this stuff and want to spend the money on it. You flip over to the late model world, okay? They're still there. A lot of friends that are still doing a lot of great things in racing that have businesses. You know, I can't talk enough about guys like Chaz Wolf Sr., okay, that loves it, has a passion for it. He's a business owner. He puts money in it,
Yep.
okay? He's not getting huge returns back from it.
They're doing it because they love it.
They love it, exactly right. But there's several of them that still exist. But I think after the 90s into the very early 2000s, the super late model world took a hit when you lost people like Ray Vest, you lost people like Speedy Hayes, you lost people like Bobby Ballantyne, okay, that were business moguls and well-established and loved racing.
They were funding it.
100%, you know, and I could name more and more and more and more, okay? They're not there. Okay, so to me, you know, it makes it challenging. And people will say, well, it's like that everywhere. I disagree with that. 100%. I have not traveled the country to every racetrack known to man to watch late models. We've been to a lot of places and in many states. But I listen and I hear from others who have. And it's not... It's geographical around here. I don't think it's great everywhere, but I do think there are places that it's working, okay? And that can be from 100 different reasons. We could talk for hours. You know, Drake Troutman says he loves the Midwest, okay? You know, you're looking at like, you know, Illinois, Iowa, all them places.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some of these tracks are on two nights a week. I mean, they even squeeze a third one in there. You know, and they're busy, they're packed, okay? But it all depends on what you want to do. Do you want to go to Rocket and buy a new race car? Do you want to buy and use a 2016 blue-gray Rocket, okay, that costs a fraction of that, and you're a blue-collar racer that goes every weekend, or maybe 3 times a month. Maybe you skip, you know, for vacation, whatever. But I guess it's all on what you want to do. But I don't know the answer as far as cost control with the manufacturers. I don't. Like, I don't know. If you had Mark Richards here in your chair, and I said, why does your chassis cost so much?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, he's probably going to blow a gasket.
Oh, I guarantee.
Okay. Because he's going to say, because you pay for speed, boy. You know, and he's probably going to say, well, things cost more. Okay. I don't know if I had a motor builder here, whether it be Jay Dickens, Pro Power, any of them. Like, why does your motors cost so much? Okay. Like, what's driven that up? Okay. I don't know, you know, how they're going to answer that. But I guess there's some things maybe we just never figure out, you know, like why eggs cost so much at the market. We can hear maybe there's a shortage on chickens. Hell, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But, and you know, and that's a big argument right now. A conundrum, we'll use that word, is, and maybe you've heard about this, is the 525 motors. That's a big hot topic right now. So do we spend 20, 25, 30 grand on a limited late model engine, right? Do we spend less money on a 525 crate late model engine? Okay. A lot of the tracks, they've drew their line in the sand. I've done a series, a show on it. I had a guy, Don Blackshear. He's kind of like the man in North Carolina with this whole 525 motor thing, right? And I've heard both arguments on each. Believe me, I've heard them. Okay, and heard them and then some. And you know, this group's saying it could be cheaper, right?
Oh.
For the 525s, they'll last longer. This group's saying, but it's not traditional. You're making more horsepower. You have an all aluminum motor. You see, we have a steel motor. You have an all aluminum motor. So people are starting to step out of their comfort zone and discuss these things because it boils down to the money factor in this, you know. And motors, I got plenty of friends that are motor builders, you know, and I've lost motors, and motors just don't like half blow up anymore.
Yeah.
They're a time, they blow to pieces, okay, and there's usually nothing left. And because the competition's gotten so tight because the variances and the clearances and everything in the motors are like so paper thin, I like to say, that it just doesn't hold. When it goes, she goes, you know. So there's a lot of arguments with that. Once again, that's the whole manufacturer, motor provider thing, you know, as far as money and
well, so how long does it take before people can't even afford to race these cars at all?
I think it's happening right now. I got to be honest. I truly do. Let's look at super late models, okay? The capital of dirt track racing, Hagerstown Speedway, right? If you wanted to be somebody, you went to Hagerstown and won. Even if it was on a regular night, into the 90s and the 2000s. B mains, common, every week. A lot of good guys on the trailer, loaded up. Didn't make it. It happened, okay? You look now at, like, who's running supers? Well, you got Bedford that runs twice a month, okay? You have the Schick family at Sealings Grove.
Yep.
Wonderful people. Donnie Race, late models, his whole life. He's pretty good at it, you know what I mean? I like to say that they're normal people, okay? And unless I have misreading some, and I think if Donnie was sitting right here and I said, Donnie, you're like a millionaire. Well, he'd look at me and say, no, I'm not, Tom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say what their finances are, but the point I'm trying to make is they just don't have money to just waste, okay? Like, and not worry about no return.
Yeah.
That's the key thing, okay? But Donnie was a racer, and sometimes they are the best promoters that because they know what it's like from that side, racing, and now they're on the business side, so they're pretty good at that. But, you know, he's hosting supers like pretty much every week.
Yeah, I see a lot of guys are always going to Selinsgrove.
Correct, they are. We go up there and do media coverage. It's mostly the Friday shows, okay? It catches the northern tier. For instance, there'll be 22 to 25, maybe even a little bit more super signed in there, okay? That's maxing her out, okay? That's maxing her out. You look at, if you look at places at Port Royal, there you have it. Port Royal, they've went to having this many super shows to last year, this many to this year here. They want to be an all-wing community. There's no doubt about it. They are 410 rich in that area, historically.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
100%. I can't, you know. 305 sprints. They found a home about everywhere, but especially at Port Royal, when they bring 40 or 50 of them. There's a business model behind that. Remember I said about counting the average amount of people per car and times in it? It's a business model with it. But the supers, it's getting drilled down to where, hey, Selinsgrove and Bedford,
that's about it.
That's about it, okay? You got to really start stepping out. Like, more than 2 hours. 3 into the 4 hour range or farther, okay? Well, you could say, well, I'll catch a lot of maybe some of the sanction races that get close. Well, that comes with its ups and downs too. I mean, your chances just go down horrendously of making fields because you're running against professional race car drivers is what they're supposed to be. That's hard. It costs money to travel extra distances. I mean, I looked around here, but you guys' fuel prices, they ain't different than mine, you know? So that's not getting any better. So I don't know. I don't know what the fate is for super late model racing. I don't. I would love to say that there's 3 tracks that run every weekend or every other weekend, you know? God bless Selinsgrove for hosting super late model shows and paying decent money.
Yeah.
God bless Bedford for hosting them, okay? We're glad Port has up until this point, okay? They got a few left, and that's it. And it ain't even, what, mid-May.
Yep.
That's it, okay? So, yeah, you look at Potomac Speedway. You look at David Williams. David Williams drove a race car, number 25. Had the Roadrunner on the side, the page all said. I watched him as a young man. He was very successful in the region, okay? He now, since last year, has Potomac Speedway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, you know, I can guarantee you if you sit down with David Williams, there's an in proportion of the amount of time and money he puts into the return, okay? And that's not because he's doing something wrong. That's just because of where we're at right now in racing, okay? And they're great people too. I can't speak enough highly regarded comments about the Williams family, okay? You know, doing what they're doing with racing. Hagerstown's a whole other story. I mean, we didn't think Hagerstown would be open this year. That we go back into the winter, that's what it was put out. We're going to have Speed Week for sprints, okay? PA Speed Week. Going to have, and people say, well, that was in Maryland. Well, it is, but historically, she's had a PA Speed Week show from beginning of time, okay? And the guys like going there. We're going to have Lucas Oil, which they just had over there. We're going to have the Bonanza that the fire company does their thing, you know, and throw in a little of this and a little of that, and that's it, okay? So, once again, here we go. Along comes someone that has a hand in racing, who races, who's been around racing, and that's Brian Booz of Booz Brothers Racing, okay? So now he steps into the mix and is helping this thing survive. Okay, so now they got a schedule. They got a little points fund. They got a schedule. I don't know, maybe 12, 15 races deep, something like that. You know, nothing, you know, like 25 or 30.
But they're trying to make it work.
They're trying to make it work. If you don't put him, if he didn't do what he did, nothing will exist on Hewitt's Crossroads on Route 40 at Hagerstown Speedway. Very little will exist. So kudos to that guy. You know what I mean? But how long can we keep stretching that piece along? I don't know. I don't know. BAPS, listen, I say it all the time. BAPS, they got it figured out. They do. They have their struggles too.
Yeah.
I'm sure every track does. But they seem to meet the needs of the, how would you want to call it, the more modern family component. Like, you see them constantly doing things.
They have a lot of events going on.
Yes, that are they got a carnival this week. There's a lot of family-driven things.
Not just racing.
Correct. Yes, that are going into that, okay? And what do? Well, hey, they make the world mad when they shut down the quarter midget track over there, right?
Yep.
We remember this, okay? They make the world mad, okay? But then they erect this McGrew bid racing complex that draws like over 100 some cars of, let's call it, young men and women.
I was there a couple weeks ago.
It's crazy.
I couldn't believe it.
It's packed, isn't it?
I could not believe it.
Yeah, and it's a top-notch facility, right? So back to the drawing board with Colton, Scott Gobrecht, okay? The blueprint is pretty basic. That's your feeder, okay? One, it gets them acquainted with the big track.
Yep.
Two is them kids grow up, okay, and move on to racing.
They're going to run on the big track.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it's a shame, obviously, to see when you see like the quarter midget track. But tomato, that's a decision that we're not even. It's not even my thing to talk about, you know. But the bottom line is, they erect that there, and they have huge numbers.
It's working.
It works, okay. And those kids, like I said, will hopefully move into something and stay in their domain.
And I would assume it does help the big track.
Well, sure it does. I guarantee it does. 100% it does. You know, 100% it does. I'm sure it makes money. I'm sure, and somebody makes money. Well, yeah, I mean, anybody that's in business wants to make money.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing against anybody making any money, whether it's the racetrack or whoever it is. So if they're making money, I'm glad they're making money. You know, they should be making money.
You have to be able to pay the bills and upgrade.
Right.
And
exactly. But and today, I mean, I don't know. It's just, so we're lucky we got Sealings Grove. I mean, Charlie Page and his crew had it forever. That's the fire company's land. It's leased. They had it forever. I can remember when I lived up north in Williamsport, PA.
yeah.
That was my go-to in my fan era. I went down to Sealings Grove, right? The place was bulging at the seams, you know, and we're in like the 2010s, 12s, I don't know. But then they got out of it. And then the fire company's like, wow, man, you know, I'm gonna just turn the lock on her and maybe we'll just be done with it. You know what I mean? So then a lady comes along and it's a mess. We'll leave it at that, right? It does not work. So then we're back again. Man, we're just about ready to turn the key on this thing and just, I don't know, we'll race dogs at it once a year, or dog races or something, you know? And then the Schicks come along, okay? And it's like, boom, they put something into play. And that's why, I mean, I'm always, go support any racetrack wherever you go, okay? I mean, seriously. But I always promote very much in the world of super late models for Sealings Grove because and they're paying decent money.
The drivers that I've talked to, I've heard nothing but great things about.
Yeah, 100%. And BAPS, the drivers I talk to as well, I've heard it. I talk about it on my show. I've heard it over and over and over that it's the best surface right now there is. If one of the best, if not the best, the surface. It's bar none. It's getting it done. You know, it's getting it done. So yeah, I mean, it's sprint cars. Like I said, we could have a whole 2-day segment on that. You know, I mean, I think they felt some of it. They felt the burden of all that big wheel thing with. I think they felt it too, but just not as severe. You know, not as severe. I mean, and let's face it. I mean, you want to go drive a sprint car. I mean, you got to be about half. I always say you have a screw loose.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, them guys' chassis, they're a fraction of the cost of what you're paying for these rockets. Longhorns, they're a fraction of the cost. Sprint car chassis.
What, way less?
Yeah, money wise. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean.
So it's all motor?
Oh yeah, I mean, these guys are getting 60, 70,000 in a motor. Late models getting 67,000. Fuel injected on their side, not fuel injected on this side. In the late models. A little bit different programming when it comes to your motor program, of how many of them things you got and how many you're going to freshen. They do like to be freshened.
Yeah.
Even, late models, like you run them, and hope they roll. But when you look at the chassis, like, I encourage you, go and Rocket or Longhorn and look at a roller, what it's going to cost you. I mean, you'll just fall out of the chair. And I'm not busted on them guys at Rock. I'm truly not, Hey, that's what they're selling it for.
Yeah.
That's what they're selling it for. But then you go look at like Maxim or like, I think Hyper, Maxima, any of them guys that make sprint car chassis and look to what they're paying. I mean, guys they're costing them $10,000-$12,000 to put top component shocks, double adjustable racing shocks on late models. This is insane.
I would never even thought about that.
It's nuts. It's one of the big, and it's an essential expense. But I guess it's one of them things where the market gets to that, and then it never goes back. You just never backpedal.
Yeah, they're not going to reverse that.
Because you get stuff that, and I always say, coming down from teams that are, on the road, more professional-based teams. So that stuff comes down, people buy it, it works, the stuff's great. So then they're starting to buy the newer stuff, and then the next guy's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm going to find a way to buy them, and then the rest of it's dominoes, And that's, shocks are out of control. I just don't know what else to say. But it's, you talk to guys, that's where it's at. That's where it's at. Shock smashing, getting load numbers.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it's at, And that's how much that's evolved, It's funny because you take any of them sprint car guys that got in a late model. Lance Deweese did. Danny Dietrich did. He was the most recent, got in, was in Alan Saggy's race, the Saggy Memorial. For his father, Dietrich drove. It was a Larry Bear car. Speaking of being up in this area, Larry Bear, right? Well, he got in Larry's. And them guys, they're telling you, like, look at this thing. You know what I mean? Like, where do you even start, set this thing?
They were even blown away with it.
Well, 100%.
There's so much going on.
100%. Yeah, 100%. When they look at, and of course, all that, look at that thing kind of thing equates to look at this thing kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing has X amount of 6 shocks on it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, oh my Lord. It's like, and it's out of control, But I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't intend to. I wish you could snap your fingers and the stands would fill up.
Yeah.
And the car counts would fill up. But I don't know. And I don't. You get north of here in the New York, and we've traveled a lot up in the New York, Genesee, Outlaw Speedway, near New York, McKean County, and then places. There's a little bit different mindset, but you're also getting into modified country.
Yes.
And that's a whole other story, right? Them people run sometimes midweek shows, and they're packed in modifieds. Midweek shows.
So that's more the thing up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness, yes. Yeah. They love modifieds. That's modified territory, 100%. The closest thing you get, like here, Colby Fry, obviously.
Yeah.
Colby Fry up around here. He's running modified, like Big Diamond, and that's where he stashes out with the modified. Now I'm not talking like UMP modified. We're talking sitting center modified.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Tipsy Top, you're back and doing this, But yeah, that's it's a big deal. They're I think I couldn't quote pricing on it, but I do think they're a little bit more affordable to a certain degree. Now, if you're running them big blocks. Obviously, you're getting into a big motor bill with a big block. But, so geographically, yeah, I think there is a lot of difference. I just don't know what's going to make it roll around here. I truly don't, I don't like to say like the city people, but these areas, this is pretty immune from it still. But my way, Waynesboro, Chambersburg, Gettysburg, they're bedroom communities for what Frederick used to be, and Rockville, and Baltimore, and D.C. No offense, and I'm not busted, but those culture of people that move up into and they commute back that way every day, an hour and a half to work or ride the train. They don't have any like.
They don't want anything to do with it.
No, and they don't understand it. They've never been brought up around it. They don't even know what it is. You see what I'm saying? So now the little areas like Hagerstown, Waynesboro, all these little areas around, they're becoming these bedroom communities with a different culture, okay, that they just aren't, they have not been exposed.
Yeah, they're not going to be going out to the track.
No, not at all. I mean, so it all that plays into it.
Yeah.
It truly does. That, my friends, is the $1 million how do you fix. I mean, I just don't know, how you do that. It is what it is. You run to the Midwest, and let's face it, you look at fields all around you for miles and miles. It's a different culture.
Yep.
It's a different culture, But for us, getting around to the racetracks, our goal, it doesn't change at the end of the day, is, and like I said, I get asked this a lot, why do you do what you do? And like I said, well, I tried driving, I couldn't do it, but my answer stays the same. One is for the passion, the love of racing.
Yep.
On the local, regional level. You should just say local, but you got to put regional in there, because you got guys that are coming from an hour and a half away now they're regional, but they're kind of local too, because they're coming to your area. You know what I mean? No, it's to continue to get the word out there, and it goes down. It all boils down for me is I know how much it would mean or has meant if someone come up and spoke to me on a microphone, and now we have this Facebook stuff, the YouTube stuff, so it goes out. But like, that means the world, and it goes a long way with people. It empowers people.
Yeah, it makes them feel wanted.
Exactly. And if people don't feel wanted, if they don't feel empowered, if they don't feel happy, if they don't feel like anybody even notices anything that they're doing, then they lose interest.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just life. It happens. And to see people have their opportunity to have 30 seconds, a minute, or whatever on a pit walk and talk about and shine about things, and also the people on the other end viewing it, to be able to sit there and be like, oh yeah, that's great. I always, they like to hear what people, even the stars, your local stars, they like to hear them speak. And it gives them, in their mind, and it is a little bit more of a connection sometimes, a personalized thing that, well, I listened to, so-and-so speak the other night, I've never heard him speak at all, and man, you got to see him wheel that race car. You know what I mean? It just puts it together, and it keeps people's interest up on both sides. So that's why we do what we do. And for the tracks too, 100%. Like, yeah, we do it for the tracks too, because we're trying to promote goodwill.
You don't want them to go away.
Well, no, not at all. Not at all. People say, well, you not go to like certain tracks you don't like? Yeah, it's like anything. You go to a restaurant, is there tracks maybe I'm not as fond of going to? It's not because maybe anybody did anything to me. It's just they're not my favorites,
I typically go to Bass because they treat me good.
Yeah.
It's close to home.
Right.
And that's where we go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like anything, I don't dislike terribly any place, Some of the rides to some of them are like, oh, But at the end of the day, I want to see them all prosper and have the sign that says open on it, and stay open. But yeah, that's why we do what we want to do. You know, like I said, it's taken a lot of years being whether a crew member, a driver, an announcer, an owner of a car, the fan, what have you. You know, to get to this point, and you know, it's I guess it's no different. And you know, we're not on top of the world per se by any means. I'm not saying that, but we've came a long ways. And I guess it's no different starting to drive a race car, and it takes a couple years and years till you start to get a little bit better and a little bit better.
Get some traction.
Exactly. So I feel like we got some traction, and we're going to use it as much as we can. And we're going to continue to use it and move forward and forward and forward. And people say, well, how big do you want to get, you know, with this? And that's kind of a loaded question to some degree. I don't forget, and I will not forget ever to where I come from.
Yeah.
I will never, ever forget that. And that's how I treat when we go around to racetracks and talk to different people from different classes. And no, we don't want them. We don't want them to forget where you come from. And, you know, I think there's a lot to be said for that. Yeah, you take our followers and quadruple them. Yeah, I'm not going to be like, no, nothing to do it, you know. But we're going to have quality content, and we're going to continue to speak. And we talk about this all the time for a blue collar racer.
Yeah.
100%. You don't see us like report national stuff.
No.
And I've been asked to, and I will not, unless it's when they're coming to town.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yep.
I will. Next week we'll chase Sealings Grove World Outlaw Late Models. We'll chase Marion Center World of Outlaw Late Models. We'll chase Bedford World of Outlaw Late Models because there'll be local regional guys that are running. I will report on that. 100% I will. I'm not saying that I won't if something huge, throw a little thing, but I won't give complete rundowns and base everything in my life, in my show, about national stuff.
Well, there's channels that do that, so.
Amen to that. There's plenty of them. You can see it all the time. It's easy news. You know, it's the easiest news to get if you wanted to duplicate it. Just go watch like a couple of other channels, and then you just reduplicate.
Well, and it's like you said, we want to see the guys that probably out of like I'd never even heard of that guy before.
Yeah, exactly.
And he went out there and just crushed it.
Yeah, I guess. And maybe it's what would you call it? Selfish to say this, but we need people to become stars and not leave.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how else to say it. You know, and a lot of them people are maybe people that get up and go to work every day. They have families. They coach Little League. They're involved in things. They may be a fireman. I don't know. But they're stars at the racetrack, and they stay.
Yep.
And they stay. Okay. And I grew up with them kind of people. Watching. They stayed for the most part. They dipped and got Gary Stuhler, prime example. I mean, he ran Star Series. That's when you could run them series and still be back home, okay? And then on the road like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, you're pretty much like you're glued to a base shop, and then you're
traveling
on the road all week, you know? And I'm like Drake Troutman, kudos to him. I'm not saying that I'm like dislike those folks. I'm not. But it's two different worlds.
Yep.
Their world and our world is not the same. I don't care. Maybe from a component or a car manufacturer, some things, they have rockets. We run rockets. I mean, they got a rocket, brand new, 1.2s, 2.0s, 2.7, whatever you want to call them, okay? Does people around here run locally have some of the same? Sure they do. But other than that, our worlds aren't the same, okay? And that's just the way it is. I don't know if I'd ever be content with them just having sanctioned race series and that's it. I honestly, I don't. I really don't. I guess you take it or leave it. It's better than nothing. You know what I mean? And once again, that's nothing against the people. There's a lot of good people driving in them series. There truly is. I enjoy talking to them, like this past weekend at Lucas. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to it, I keep going back to the Hagerstown Speedway thing in the 90s and 2000s. There's B-main, there are 30 plus cars on a weekly show signed in, in Hagerstown.
Yeah.
They paid $2,500. That was like big money then.
Yeah.
In supers, big money. And they signed in, and there was a B-main, and some went home, some didn't make it, and there was like at any given time, 10 or 12 guys that could pull it off that night and win. Maybe even more than that. You know what I mean? Maybe even more than that. They could be standing on the podium right there. So I mean, it is what it is. But we'll continue to do the things we do. And you were asking me a little bit in the beginning when we came down and about, like, what all do we do?
Yeah, what are your shows?
Well, this is what we do. We had loans started out by having just Elbows Up Dirt Productions and having like a Thursday night show, right? And that show would have a guest on it, okay? We're going to be 78 deep into that.
Wow.
Okay? Here tomorrow night. But the shows, they would be about an hour and a half sometimes, and they were too long. I'm sure you learned this too, I quickly learned that less is better.
The attention span's not there.
Or break it up into different segments.
Yep, exactly.
Yes, 100%. Do we get people watch on the back end? Sure. You watch your numbers. I watch our numbers, all the analytics on it. I mean, we're like nerds with it,
Yep.
But that when you look at it, the shorter the better. So anyways, we did that. And then we found that let's just start giving the news locally.
Oh.
So we coined it the bottom line, right? The bottom line. And it runs pretty much every Monday throughout racing season. And the bottom line, it touches, the format doesn't change, okay? The format doesn't change. We always address any folks that have left us, God help them, in this world that have been impactful in racing, okay? We unfortunately went through a slew of folks here this year, more than I think I've ever seen in other years.
Yeah.
We then go to our results, okay? We then go to our who's hot in the area, okay? And we have sponsors for that stuff. And the people like that, who's hot on the limited late model tour, who's hot on the supers, who's hot on the 410s, and then we go to our upcoming. So that's the goodwill, obviously, too, of the tracks, of getting them out there to what they got coming up this week.
Yeah.
And if it's anything special, we lay emphasis on it and kind of bloat that out there for them. And then we go to any generalized news at the end, just good old fashioned. Hey, we hear so and so switch seats. They're doing this now. They're running for him, or things like that.
Yeah,
Cool. So that's the bottom line. The bottom line gives you Monday nights anywhere from 20 minutes to 40, depending on like how much results there are. Right now, it's been spotty. Weather is either wiping a Friday out or Saturday, or vice versa. And then a lot of tracks are just getting up to speed right now. So the results, it takes a little, the preparatory actually on the bottom line takes a while. I got to be honest. You got like 2 hours on that, because you're going back and you're going and fetching all your results, and putting them down.
Yeah, you're putting some work in on
It
that.
does. It takes a while. It takes a while. And Sunday nights, I don't give myself much room, because you wait to Sundays so everything's over for the weekend.
Yep.
So Sunday nights is like, that's what you do, at the kitchen table at like midnight, to get your day done and get all that stuff done, And we usually list like definitely top 3 to 5, sometimes 10, depending on what kind of show it was. You know what I mean? We then go to our 1 to 2 times a month in-house shows, which is the House of Dirt.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So we come up with the House of Dirt, and it's funny because you're a music guy. I've learned that when I come in here, and we've talked music for a good bit.
Oh yeah.
I love music. Fast Freddy and I were concert goers, big time. But I know you know this guy, and he comes on, I believe, Sunday nights, D. Snyder.
Oh, yeah.
In the House of Hair.
Twisted Sisters.
Right. He calls that. They put it on our local station. That I'm sure it's simulcast, it's syndicated, but it's D. Snyder in the House of Hair. So, I've listened to it a gazillion times, and he plays all the hair metal bands, from that time frame. And I'm like, House of Hair? What about the House of Dirt?
It's like a spinoff.
Yeah. So now it's the House of Dirt, That's where where I got that from.
That's cool.
Okay. I kept thinking, House of Hair, why don't we do the House of Dirt? So it's the House of Dirt. And that has a guest, sometimes two we run. Okay. Sometimes two guests. And it usually goes an hour, a little, maybe a little more over. And then you switch gears, and then what happens on the weekends is we're on the move. Okay? It's pit walk time.
Yep.
Okay? We love doing pit walks. By far, it seems to be a hit. People now send us a lot of messages. Where are you going to be at? Because I never give it away usually where I'm going. Because I don't want to what if we change direction at the last?
Yeah.
Things, what I mean?
Everything changes.
100%. It could be weather driven, which is a lot of the time. It could be show driven. Because we want to try to support all tracks in this area. We truly do. We've been to Hagerstown this year. Selinsgrove, Winchester, Bedford. We'll get to Potomac. We'll get to Dog Hollow. I mean, we'll stretch out. You know what I mean? For sure. 67 times worth. Path Valley, we'll stretch out, So the pit walks, they do well. People like to listen and hear that driver talk.
Oh, yeah.
Family members, people love to see that's my nephew.
Yep.
That's my cousin. That's my brother. That's my son, my daughter, They love to hear that. So the pit walks do well. We'll cover, it depends. At certain places, it's a challenge. We're getting it down now, but when we do go places that we haven't been before, like my biggest fear when we're driving there is service. You're done.
You're usually live streaming.
Yeah, we're live. Everything we do is live. We pride on going live. Everything we do is live. Everything. So that gets me on edge. If we're going someplace and I'm worried about service. Well, Lincoln's tough. That's true. We've covered the Clash last year.
Yeah.
We did not do it this year. It's spotty. The service is not good there. You know what I mean? I have a hot spot. Lots of times I'll flip one to his phone, Fast Freddy's, if it gets that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're live, so service is everything right there. We tend to, at certain places, depending on service, and depending on how the pits are laid. It's another thing. We got good equipment that cancels out noise, but it's still hard to hear me talking to you of what we're saying.
Yeah.
It may be crystal clear in the mic, but for me to carry the conversation on, it's hard. A lot of tracks, pits are outside. So that makes it a little bit...
it's noisy.
Yeah, it could be...
Generators running.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
So to have post-race interviews, we do catch Selinsgrove's pretty friendly for that, to get a post-race in. But lots of places it's not.
Yeah.
Because other races are still going on, and that bleeds over into us having a conversation, so it makes it really tough. We're all about time windows. I drag him around through the pits like 100 mile an hour, because sometimes you only got windows, to get something done. Just like any other.
These guys are trying to get ready for the next one.
That's exactly right. Just like any other news person.
Yep.
ABC, the news on TV. You don't see it, but they're like, okay, go. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just to try to get there, to get 1 minute or 2 minutes of time. So yeah. And the other thing that we actively do is we started doing, and we did it because of a lot of drivers have been on our show a couple times, and you gauge that out, and that okay, they bet on a year and a half ago, they're due.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But even then, with the amount of drive, you start to saturate the area, So we started going to the shops. We started going to the places.
Yes.
You know, and it's fun. It is. Some are 2-3 hours away. You know what I mean? You know, Fred said last month we had 1,000 miles. The month before we were like 1,600. You know?
You've definitely been putting work in.
Right. But it's cool, and people love the shop visits. They love the shop visits. Simply, they're getting it all. They're getting to hear the driver. They're getting to look around. And I know as a kid, to go to a race shop.
Oh yeah.
That was like, if somebody said, hey, we're going to so-and-so's race shop or something, I mean, yeah, I'd be like, I'm there. You know, because I want to check. I want to see what their stuff's like. Like what really happens in a race shop. How's this thing set up? You know, as a young man, I remember thinking this must be like some NASA laboratory, you know, at these places. And it's cool sometimes to see that maybe they just have a basic setup, you know, or maybe it's like, wow, look at all this is far out, you know what I mean? So people like to see that, you know, they love that part of it. And also they see lots of times the hauler, you know, things in there.
Before you even talk to them, I'm going to need 30 minutes to look around here.
100%. And we enjoy it too because you get to sit there and talk.
Yeah.
You get to sit there and you get to talk to people on the crew because usually the crew's there.
Yep.
And they're a hoot sometimes, you know what I mean? They're a hoot. But so basically then the bottom line, we run on Monday nights. Shop visits are more geared at winter.
Yep.
I got a couple on the burners to do here coming up still. The House of Dirt airs on Thursdays once to twice a month, okay? And then the pit walks.
Yep.
And then the pit walks. So they're kind of like our buffet of things that we offer right there. I still announce at Path Valley. I full-time announced. Last year I went down to like halftime. So. We were on the road with ULMS, with Zuver and Company, and following the series, doing the media work, announcing the places. Good experience. Good experience. It'll wear you down after sometimes because you're traveling. Sometimes long places. And we're cheap. We don't stay in motels lots of times. We drive it back. Our golden rule is 5 hours. Yeah, if it's 5 and under, we'll haul it back.
I don't blame you on sleeping home in your own bed.
Yeah, we will. We'll haul it back. We'll haul it back. If it gets up into that 7-hour mark, we'll stay someplace, you know. We'll stay someplace or sleep in the car, one of the two, you know. But it makes for fun. So last year, you know, with the whole Path Valley thing was like, it was kind of it turned out to part-time. This year, same thing, you know. I just recently was blessed to get offered a position.
I heard about it.
Yeah, with the East Coast Legends series. I've known the Freeze family for quite some time now. Good people, very good people. Can't say enough good about them. Whether I was there or not, you know, I still say the same thing. They're good people. That series is a class act ran series. It's very heightened. The car counts are incredible. You know, they're BAPS this Saturday. You know, they bring 30 plus cars. You know, they bring a lot of crew. They bring a lot of fans. The racing is good with them. They're pretty affordable. For the record, there is no racing cheap. It's all expensive.
There's no cheap race.
But they're much more manageable and affordable than other classes. You know, so I've been spending time up there. We did media things for them. Elbows Up has, and we do a lot for different places for media things. You know, people call us and can you do something with us? You know. And we've been doing all their coverage for them. A lot of weekly sets like this that are like by twice a month. And we just did one Tuesday like that. And it talks about their series, what's going on, and updates to people, you know. So I spent some time in their new location in Chambersburg where they have a bus service, you know. They've always had bus services, school buses and vans and things. So they moved under one roof at 800 Lincoln Way West, Chambersburg. So now, like the race shop's there, which houses the house cars for Freeze Motorsports. The store's there, which is the parts store for Freeze Motorsports. And then the bus service is there.
Oh, okay.
So everything's under one roof. It's really nice. And I started helping up there just doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, like a few hours a week, you know what I mean? And the opportunity came to me, and I happily accepted it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're pretty excited about that. I think that the whole promoters thing, obviously I've never been a promoter, you know what I mean? So I have much to learn, and I pull from my experiences with promoting ourselves, okay? I think there's a lot to be said for that, just as well as what you do, what we do, what anybody does with anything. When you have to promote yourself, you learn real quick how to get good, better.
You put the time in.
At doing that, exactly right. So I think I bring that strength to the table there with that. And I'm blessed to be offered that opportunity with them. And like I said, I can't say enough good about the organization. People have asked me, well, what does that do for Elbows Up? You know what I mean? Elbows Up, their productions will still be a fully functionable thing. Nothing will be less.
No big changes.
No, not at all. No, not at all. Still doing the same stuff.
Yep.
You know, we just added another faucet with me with this. You know, and I once again, I think it boils down to where people's niches are.
Yeah.
You know, and I tend to believe that mine is more on this side of the fence. You know, would I love to race? Well, sure. Did I like racing? Yeah, I did. I truly did. I don't regret any racing. I don't regret spending the money I spent, okay, on it, which is a lot, just like everybody.
Yeah.
You know? Will I ever do it again? Yes, I will. I will race again. Mark my word. I don't know if it will be like full-time, part-time, but I will don.
Yeah, if you get the chance,
I will.
You're going to go do it.
I will. Yes, I will. And I don't know when that'll be. Next year, the following year, I don't know. I'm getting older, obviously, but I'm going to do. I will do it again. So yeah, and everybody, you know, a lot of people, I'm sure, fast food like, oh no, you know,
here we go
again. But no, not at all. But at the end of the day, you know, where I plant my feet is what we're doing now.
Yep.
You know, and I'm still, like I said, I still will be at Path Valley doing the things that we do there. You know, I can't say enough good about Path Valley. You know, John and his folks up there, John Winsett, the owner, he, you know, gave me an opportunity to announce. I had Elbows Up going on. And I forgot about that. We incorporated that the pre-race zones. We've done a lot of those up there. We have a big, you know, banner and stuff. We set up, do the pre-race zones, have drivers on. It's streamed live, and it's also overhead, you know, on the intercom.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did that for Zoover with ULMS. You know, it was a pretty good hit, you know. But we incorporated that into the mix up there, and with a lot of the media things we did, his numbers grew, and my numbers grew. So I truly think that we were meant to connect in that time frame and grow each other.
Yeah, it was good for both of
I
us.
100% agree, 100%. And I think, and I'd hope that he would say the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. The announcement's a whole different animal.
I can imagine.
It is. I mean, it's in that media realm, but it isn't to a certain degree, okay? And I quickly learned that you are the ringleader of like a circus, and I'm not saying it's a circus at the racetrack, wherever I'm at, no, but it's equivalent to that.
I mean, you're in charge of basically the whole thing.
It moves as fast or is not as fast as you move it. You know, I can remember going to announce fresh into this only a couple times, and you know, I'm like, so you know, when we want to get, you know, feature out here, we're waiting for you to tell us. And I'm like, okay. It's like, no, you're moving it along. Yep. You truly are, you know? So it's a whole different animal doing that. a lot of great voices out there. You know, Frank Saggy, right? You know, the late great. His voice will never be replicated ever. You know, I have people at times come up and say, you know, you're trying to be kind of like, you know, Frank Saggy. You know, Frank Saggy was ahead of his time. He was. Frank Saggy had a recorder with a shoulder strap on it, with the big recording wheels in it like this,
that's cool.
And a microphone, doing a lot of pre-recorded stuff.
So he was already doing it.
That would get played overhead. So you, this is Swift, you as the person sitting in the stands, guess what? You thought that was probably happening live.
Wow.
Right then and then. It was pre-recorded. Okay? It was also pre-recorded because Frank Saggy did the news on the radio. Okay? And a lot of that footage, all of it, was pre-recorded. He would have people call in and guess, sure. But the majority of it was pre-recorded. So he had content. In this business, it's all about content.
Yeah, and he keep track of what's going on.
That's right.
While that's still playing.
That's exactly right. And so he was ahead of his time, given where technology was then with this. I mean, truly ahead of his time, you know? But there's a lot of great announcers, you know, going on. I mean, you know, last night, you know, what do you look at? Johnny Gibson, the World Outlaw. You know, I like Johnny Gibson. I think he puts the heat to it. You know what I mean? He does. He gets it wound up. But a lot of local announcers, you know, that you have one right here in your backyard.
Yep.
You know, with David Hare.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that guy, he's got it going on.
He comes up with everyone's nicknames.
He does. He has a lot of nicknames he comes up. I've been fortunate to put out maybe a dozen, but to his probably like gross of nicknames that he's put out. Yeah.
Every time I talk to a driver, and I'm like, how did you get that nickname?
David Hare. David Hare. David Hare, you know? Oh, yeah. But now, Steve Inch, I mean, he's back in the business again. You know, Williams Grove, or Lincoln. Sorry, Lincoln. You know, he's the Lincoln guy right now. You know, so yeah, there's a lot of John Kroll. You know.
So those guys always stay at a certain track. That's their track.
Most do. Yeah. That's their haven per se. Buddy Long. I get about Buddy Long, right? There's an example, Potomac and Hagerstown.
Oh, okay.
He's doing both, okay? You look at Doug Watson. Doug Watson, he's been in the business, you know? He more does some writing and things now, editorial stuff and write-ups. But, you know, for a long time, Doug Watson announced, you know? But most of them find a place, and that's where they land.
Stick to a home track.
They do. For the most part, yeah, they do. And then you get series announcers, you know, like Johnny Gibson, you know, James Essex. Yeah. You know, I mean, we had a chance to talk with James at Lucas. It's at Hagerstown the other Sunday. You know, he's always great. There's a guy with a wealth of information. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like Alan Saggy, but he's out in the road. You know, I mean, Alan's got a wealth of information, a wealth. Everybody always asks Alan, do you want to announce like your dad? No. You know what I mean? No. But the work Alan puts into things and what he knows historically is deep. It's phenomenal. It truly is. You know, just what I think I know back, Alan takes it another layer. You know, it helps he's a little older. No offense, Alan. He's a little older. But he really can get back into my dad's era and in the 70s. Where, you know, let's face it, I mean, I was born in 76, you know, so I'm a little not disconnected, but not as connected to that time frame. My time frame is the 90s, the late 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, the 90s was good for a lot of things. Music.
Oh, yeah, definitely for music.
Yeah. And then racing was just off the hook, off the charts in the 90s, you know. If we could go back, that'd be where I would steer us back to. You know, would be the 90s. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, you guys, I've followed you guys since you started.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I remember, in fact, I talked to Alan Saggy, speaking of Saggy. Oh, this is months, way back when you guys, I just got onto you, like, You know, so I called Alan. I'm like, who are these guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. You know, what they got going on? You know, I see some in-car camera stuff.
Yeah.
You're doing, and I see some interviews like this you're doing, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. And like Alan and I said, you know, the more arms
Yep.
pushing for this stuff, the better. Okay, we need it.
We all want somewhere to go on the weekend.
100%. 100%. So yeah, kudos to you guys for what you're doing, by far.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I mean, I'm down with it. I really am. I really picked up like on Yoder's stuff.
Yeah.
You guys did some series.
Oh yeah, what a great guy.
Up there. Yeah. Oh yeah, Andrew Yoder and them.
Yep.
Yeah, they're good people for sure. For sure.
Well, you're going to be very busy this season.
Yeah.
Promoter.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
House of Dirt.
House of Dirt.
What else is in there for the rest of the
I
season?
don't know. There's a pit walking going on, and you know, we have our junior racing club.
I saw that.
Yeah, we just had a kickoff for that.
Yep.
This past Sunday, and the kids used me up there on the go-karts pretty good. You know what I mean? They did. They used me up. It was a lot of fun. We started that. Listen, there's clubs for everything, and I think it's great. I'm not saying that that's not great. There's baseball club, chess club. There's clubs for everything. You know what I mean? But there ain't no racing club. So we did the research on it, and we found that there wasn't a racing club within, like, from here to the Mississippi. Like, there's none. You know, so that's what put us forward with that. You know, and
that's awesome.
And we've been pretty blessed. You know, we truly have. We're getting ready for another expansion with that. It's free of charge. It's ages 6 to 18. Get this, you don't have to be a racer.
Wow.
No, you don't have to be a race car driver. No. Like, are a lot of them? Yes. Do we get a lot from quarter midget ranks and things? Yeah, we do. But you can be a crew member, a sibling, enthusiast, or just the kid that's friend goes and thinks, man, I'd like to see what that's about.
Yeah.
Because you never know. You could be looking at the next great mechanic there or the next great race car driver.
Oh, absolutely.
And they just didn't know it then. So, yeah, we go visit race shops. Field trips, we call them, you know. We got one coming up to Kyle Lear's here in June, it looks like. And they like doing that. Once again, it goes back to that kid thing, going into a race shop. That's like, yeah, it's like a toy store. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm going to look at everything. I'm going to look at everything. Exciting. Yeah. So we do a lot of them. We go to tracks. We've been to EMMR down here.
Yep.
And I've got the late great Lynn Paxton. He gave us our tour. He was our tour guide. And the kids enjoy it. They like to be together and have fun. But we teach. We have a board of directors. We have a board of directors. We have a budget. All that good stuff. And it falls under Elbows Up Their Productions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have bylaws, and we have a code of conduct.
Wow. And
all the kids, they sign a code of conduct, all the members. Okay? And they also, we preach on the mission revolves a lot with sportsmanship. A lot. And we always tell them, when you go to the big tracks and see the adults doing some dumb things.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because it happens, you know. We try to steer around that, you know what I mean? And teach them that sportsmanship is key with things. So, yeah, we enjoy that a lot. We've been very blessed, once again, to be able to do something like that. It was a vision, if you will, that went, and we're getting ready to step it up another notch. Okay. And a lot of it's down here, geographically, going back to McGrew Bid. Okay? We had several members in this area, the Dover area, okay, families and things like that. And the thing of it is, the kids grow up. They're not kids anymore. Yeah. And we've had several of, like, our membership, they're not 14 anymore. We've been doing it enough years that they're 18 or 19 and moved on. And that's fine. You know what I mean? So we have to continue to, recoup like that. So I know our dart is aimed to land in this area, especially with McGrew Bid.
Yeah, you have to let me know. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to be doing some campaigning, if you will, at the track. We're working some things out to get the BAPS in McGrew Bid and get folks signed up.
Yeah.
You know, and get them on our newsletter and mailer and events calendar. And you're not obligated to have to go. Like, you got to go there. No, not at all. I mean, it's busy. I mean, people are doing things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah, that we're really happy with that. So we'll continue to work at that and move forward. And then it'll be winter, and then we'll get grouchy because there's races. You know what I mean? We always say you get to, like, we're hunters, okay, and you get to where racing ends, and then hunting begins. Well, then hunting ends, and then you got that little piece into Christmas, and then that's a long couple months like that. I mean, a long, and especially like this past winter when it was bitter cold.
Oh, very cold.
Yeah, like, you know, it ain't even like you feel like going outside for anything. So once again, that's what propelled the shop visits. You know, let's get in the car and let's go.
Keep the contact going.
We got to keep moving. We got to keep moving. You know, we got to keep moving. So yeah, but all in all, you know, we're hanging in there and doing good, and we'll continue to reach out to the drivers, to the people, and deliver quality content. And we have sponsors. You know,
who are they?
Oh man, I knew this. Well, we have a fair amount. Chaz's Auto Parts, Chaz Walls, and he's been a big supporter of us for a long time. David H. Martin Excavating, Walls Wallpapering and Painting, TB's Auto Body Service, East Coast Legends, Freeze Motorsports, Victory Lane Auto Repair. Our friend up here, I'm sure you probably know, Sean Jones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. His garage, right? Yeah. And what all he's doing in Mechanicsburg there. He's been a supporter. Geared Up Firearms. They've been a supporter of us. Creekside Auto Sales, Larry Bear, is a supporter of what we do. Fred, you gotta have to help me out here. You know what I'm saying? Off the top of my head. Now, yeah, I never been at Victory Lane.
That's all right.
Yeah, I never been at Victory Lane to have to do this, and I often wonder, like, drivers, like, they got to walk around their car.
Like,
they'll take and walk around it because they're trying to remember, and that's what it's awful. But that's what I'm trying to do. I got to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Cannon Powder Coating, Dillman Hauling. Yep, out of New Bloomfield, Pennsylvania. T.A. Ward. Can't forget T.A. Ward's been with us like that. Construction. He has the 270 class at Path Valley and does a lot of renovations up there like that. Help me out here, Fred. We can't. We're gonna have to get a cheat card for that. Yeah, you got me on the spot.
One for next time.
We're gonna have to get a cheat card on Dan's Auto Repair, Ashley Yoder Designs, Amsoil by Aaron Miller, Tim Fights Painting. We're starting to get them drilled down there, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry if I missed one.
That's all
like
right.
that because I usually got I got cards.
If you miss it, I can put them in there.
Yeah, in studio I got cards. You know, I have them in my dad. Everybody, I roll through all of them in like 5 minutes. You know, I read through all of them.
You got a new inquiry this morning.
Yeah, we got a new inquiry. Yeah, we get a fair amount of inquiries. Chaz, and Chaz used Auto Parts. Chaz has like it's Studio 02. Okay, that was my number. My dad's racing number and my number. So it's always Chaz's used Auto Parts Studio 02. Or Studio 02 brought to you by Chaz's used Auto Parts, you know, like that. But yeah, we've been really blessed, all joking aside. TRW race cars. Tom and DJ Myers, they build their own dirt lane model chassis. We've Raptor race cars, Raptor, I can't forget Raptor race cars. We've been really blessed as far as sponsorship wise.
Yeah.
Over the years. And, so, you know, some have came and went. You know, it's like anything, you know, and there's a lot of them, they've re-up every year with us like that. They re-up. Bob Dunn I can't forget Bob Dunn. Bob Dunn's been with us for a long BDR Racing, and Bob Dunn Racing Supplies out of East Waterford, up at Path Valley, like that. He's been with us for quite some time. So yeah, most of them are racing.
Yeah.
Some way, somehow, and some aren't. You know what I mean? Some want the the opportunity just to to get put out there.
Help the cause.
Yeah, sure. Yep, can and powder coating. I got them. Yep, can and powder coating, and they're a really good business. A really good business, doing a lot of powder coating work. They got a great program, Victory Circle, Victory Lane. Meaning, if you go up there, you get your car powder coated, and you carry a sticker this big, and you win, you're upwards, and he'll pay you $250.
Wow.
Cash every time you win. So a guy goes out and wins about 20 races or something,
Yeah,
got her
he's
done
good.
there, you'll be cracking out some money.
Oh, yeah.
But think about it. I mean, that's pretty cool. You know what I'm
That's cool.
saying? That's real. That's his way of giving, helping the cause.
Yeah.
Giving, because it takes money to make the things go. You know what I mean? And we don't get rich winning. You know what I mean? But yeah, so they're all really good sponsors, and we've made friends. There's friendships there, over the years, and it goes a long ways for sure. There's no doubt about it. But yeah. So
All right. Well, how can people follow you?
Roy Anderson's a big supporter. ARC Race Supply in Winchester. They're always right there supporting us. People can follow us. They can. It's it's funny, right? But how you follow us is you go to Thomas Cordell on Facebook. I'm a digital creator. It's a commercialized page. But what happened was it always started under that, and it got bigger quick, and it's the whole background's elbows up.
Yeah.
Their production's on it, but it's under Thomas Cordell on Facebook. I just never changed it over to a bonafide elbows up their productions page because of switching pages. You know what I'm saying? That's like murder doing that.
Oh yeah.
And then you're held to like 60 days. You can't film nothing or post or film live. Go Facebook Live for 60 days. So Thomas Cordell on Facebook. Everything's there, and there's nothing personal. It's all everything we talked about right there. YouTube. You can go on YouTube. It opens up their production, and we have a good following there. Everything we do goes over to YouTube and gets banked right there.
Oh, okay. So you can go back and watch it again.
Yeah, because it's forever and ever.
Yep.
Right there. Whereas Facebook, 30 days.
Yeah, it's gone.
She going. You get the little things all the time.
Yep.
Your video has been deleted from 31 days. Yeah. So we send it over to Facebook. It's there forever, like that. Yep. So that's how you can follow us. You can follow us both ways like that, for sure. And you can catch us too, like a lot of our people, and I'm sure maybe you started to see some of these groups, like All Dirt Racing.
Yeah.
So all of them platforms, regional and national, like we're connected with them.
Oh, okay.
And like they either grab our stuff as soon as we post, or we shoot it to them and it's posted. Yeah, so a lot of people will see like everything dirt racing, dirt late model craze, dirt late model news, anything like that, Northeast Racing Group, everything goes over to there too. So it's up there going. You'll find a lot of people. It's broadened our audience up, obviously, like that. No doubt about it. It's broadened our audience up. And no, we don't make a living on being monetized. I get asked that question like 10 times a week.
It's not easy to do.
No. If people, it is absolutely not easy to. Are we monetized? We are. I'm not gonna lie to you. We are. It happened. We used to think like, how does this work?
Yeah.
And they really don't tell you much about it at all. Facebook, like they do not. You have to just figure it out. And one day, when you magically have enough followers and people following and are getting a following that's broadband, diverse, they're like, you're eligible to be monetized, And I can tell you, folks, that monetization, if you're living off that, there's a reason why people that monetize themselves are folks that will do silly stuff for attention because they get views. And if they have like 100,000 followers, it starts to add up.
Yeah.
But we're not, I'll be clear
No.
about that. I know you're not about
No.
that. I'm not about that. Like, not at all. We give quality content, and that's what it is.
It's a platform for people to see us.
100%. And yeah, but it's funny sometimes because we can get like deposits for like $7.12 for like the month.
Yeah.
It just depends where it's funny, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, who wouldn't take it? I mean, you know what I mean? It ain't like you're doing extra
I'll take
work.
$7.
Exactly. It varies with them, you know. It varies, and to try to figure it out, it's rocket science. The algorithm.
It's a job in itself.
Yeah, the algorithm on it is rocket science to try to figure it. And it ain't nobody you're going to call there
Yep.
or get a hold of or get back to you about how it works. And it's a fair question. People do. They honestly ask us that a lot. They're curious because they
Yep.
hear about this. You know, they hear about people making a living in the monetized world. And like, I'm like, yeah, they're eating, a lot of them are eating like ramen noodles and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's not easy.
And that's all they're doing all day
That's
long.
it, all day long. And people say, well, why do they pay you? Because they run commercials on you.
Yep.
That's exactly why. And if you look, our stuff, they run commercials. And the bigger monetized you are and the bigger following you have, for instance, the commercials that they run on us for like buy your artificial like bamboo tree looking thing from Temu, they're the commercials that they'll run on us. For somebody that's really big, the commercials they'll run on them will be like State Farm Insurance, like bigger companies, you know. And it's crazy to think that that's how it all works, but that's how it all works.
That's exactly
right
how
there.
it works.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So I definitely wanted to put that out there because I get asked it all the time.
Yeah.
I do. I get always asked that. Boy, I bet you're cranking in the money.
Yeah,
You know,
big
and I'm
checks
like,
are coming in.
oh yeah, there's so big. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? But it is cool though.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
you're getting something.
Yeah.
For doing that. Like, and they're running commercials on you because, like I said, you're not doing any extra work.
Yeah.
You're just posting a video and they're giving you something.
Any little bit helps. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's hilarious when you put up like a promo in writing that's not a video, and it'll come back and say the earnings for that was 0.002. So it's like what, like 10 thousandths of a cent? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's hilarious
awesome.
when you get that. You're like, I'm really cranking her in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's not why we're doing this.
No,
Not at all.
absolutely
No, not at all. But yeah, I really appreciate you reaching out to us. And doing this was great, and it's great for you, it's great for me, but most importantly, it's great for the racing community. That's where it's
I
great.
think it's great.
It's a win-win, you know? And I admire, like I said, what you're doing, and I think your logo is just this banging.
Thank you.
It's great. The Brenner, I love it. I love it. You know, it caught my eye when you first started, and it did what it was supposed to.
Yeah,
I was like, check that out. You know what I mean? Check that out. But yeah, and we would love sometime, you know, to bring you up our way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And things. And anytime you're wanting to go to a race or show somewhere,
oh, I'm in on that.
you hop in the wagon out there, the elbows up wagon, and we'll go.
Yeah, we love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, we'll go.
The people love it.
They do. You meet a lot of people. You
absolutely.
do. You learn a lot.
Yep.
And I got to be honest, if you're like us, we're doing the news. I mean, that's where you get your news. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's where I gotta watch it because I don't know anything.
Yeah,
of what's
you
going
start
on.
to
I have
hear
no
what's
idea.
going on. You know, and you pick and choose what you're going to broadcast. Obviously, you know. But and another question. I honestly, I'll put the rest. I get asked this all the time. Like, you mean you would like talk to that guy or interview him? Like, man, I don't know about that guy. Now, we talk to everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
And let me say that again. We talk to everybody.
Yep.
You know, that's not like, I'm not there to judge.
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
I'm reporting and giving people the media portion, so we talk to everybody.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
100%.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's just the way it is, you know. But yeah, it's funny because there's, like I said, the Facebook monetized, and that question right there.
Yeah.
Do you talk to everybody? Do you mean you talk? We get asked that a lot. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I always try to stay very neutral.
yeah,
I don't want to get in the middle of anything and just do a good job.
yeah, that's exactly right. And I mean, there's obviously hot items out there on the burner. I get pressed on it like, well, what's your opinion? And and I don't go down that slope. You know what I mean? I think it's a dangerous slope to go down.
Definitely.
And that's not our stance. We're not a critic. There's a difference. You can go online on Facebook and pull up different sites that their person doing is a critic. They're there arguing a fact for something like that. Other than good facts, like we don't argue the fact. We like to give the details and let the people decide as is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're the platform for them to have it. We're not going to be like, no,
that's what we do. If there's a camera on a car and someone else's car drives it, it's all getting put out there.
Exactly.
I don't care who.
Right. It's the good, the bad, the ugly. It's the way it is, you know.
Yep.
But this has been great, and thoroughly look forward to coming down here. And once again, we appreciate you having us down here, and we invite you. When you can, you come with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thomas, appreciate you coming
thank
up.
you.
It's awesome. Had a great time. Fast Fred, thank you.
Fast Fred, that's right.
Thank you for being the chauffeur.
He is. Fred gets us around everywhere, asleep or half awake.
That's all
you know
right.
what I mean? Fred gets us around. He's on the back end of the camera, and I mean, I've known Fred for over 30 years. We've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
Yep. And he's always on that end, you know, and filming where I'm going, dragging him around. You know what I mean? And I know sometimes that I'm like, yeah, we're going to switch gears, and we're going to run an extra 150 miles north and do 3 times this week. I know sometimes he would like to say a lot of things, choice words, and he does it, and he rolls with it, you know? And for he thinks globally for the big picture, and he rolls with it. And I appreciate that.
That's
so
awesome. All right, well, I appreciate having you guys out. With that being said, go follow Thomas Cordell. We love watching the racing.
Yeah. Remember, whatever you do, this is what we always tell them. Whatever you do with big energy, and you do it with elbows up.
That's right.
Exactly right.
Like, subscribe, comment down below, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take care. Thank you.
Built for horsepower, filmed full throttle.